Hello students, I hope you all are doing good. Let's start with the very first topic of Unit 4 of Global Competitiveness and Strategic Alliance, that is Strategic Alliance. Strategic alliance basically means a sort of alliance between two or more organizations for the purpose of sharing their capabilities. And those capabilities can be financial, economic, operational, human resource, research and development, innovation, technology, marketing, and promotional capabilities. So let's start with the basic concept of strategic alliance. Before that, a famous quote by the former chairman of General Electric, who's my customer in the morning, my rival in the afternoon, and my supplier in the evening. That means we are blurring our boundaries between competition and cooperation in certain industries. Strategic alliance basically is a relationship between two or more parties, and these two or more parties are nothing but organizations or enterprises for the purpose of agreed goals or to meet a critical business need while remaining independent organizations. Both the organizations remain independent in their working and they collaborate their capabilities in order to achieve some objective. Once that objective is achieved, strategic alliance comes to an end. That means it is dissolved. Strategic alliance involves exchange, sharing, or co-development of products, services, procedures, and processes. Strategic alliances are basically the links which are formed between two or more independent companies which choose to carry out a project or specific activity by coordinating the necessary skills and resources rather than competing individually with the competitors. So, strategic alliance is a cooperative business relationship between two or more firms to attain a limited objective while maintaining their independence. Usually, in strategic alliance, no new company or legal entity is formed. But to exception, this is the joint venture wherein two companies work together to form a new company, but the existence of both companies still in the market. And there is no specific pooling together of equity contribution towards a joint enterprise. A strategic alliance may even be formed with potential or actual competitors, often in non-competing lines or in markets, suppliers, or customers, thereby creating horizontal, vertical, and diagonal integration. Examples of strategic alliance is IBM, Siemens, Toshiba. They are working together to create a new generation memory chip. Duopont and Sony developing optical memory storage products. GM and Hitachi, they are collaborating to produce electronic components for automobiles. So strategic alliance in short is basically a relationship between two or more businesses that enables each to achieve certain strategic objectives neither would be able to achieve on their own. When the companies are not able to achieve some strategic objective individually, they try to collaborate with those companies which have some capabilities in order to help them to achieve the stated objective. The strategic partners maintain their status independent and separate entities. They share the benefits and control over the partnership, continue to make contributions to the alliance until it is terminated. These are the main features of international strategic alliances. First one is it is flexible and dynamic in nature. It is made only for some specific project or objective. Once that specific project or objective is attained, strategic alliance comes to an end. It helps to preserve the autonomy of independent organizations, and these decisions are highly reversible. Though the cost involved in reversing those decisions is extremely high. Strategic alliances are basically increasingly between firms which are in industrialized countries, those industries which are more competitive in nature, which want to attain global competitiveness. Only those firms are going for strategic alliances. Focus frequently on the creation of new products and technologies rather than the distribution of the existing ones. It often occurs during industry transitions when competitive advantages are shifting and the very basis for building and sustaining competitive advantages is being defined. As we all know, in the current scenario where innovation and technology plays a very important role, and at the same time product life cycle is also getting shortened day by day. So companies are collaborating with their competitive firms, with their competing firms, with the collaborating firms in order to survive in the competitive environment. What motivates a company to form strategic alliance? First one is technological exchange. Herein we'll be talking about R&D collaboration and global competition. R&D collaboration basically is innovation, and at the same time due to shorter product life cycle which enhances the time pressure and risk exposure while reducing the potential payback of massive R&D investment. The necessary capabilities and resources are often beyond the scope of single company. So they collaborate in order to share their resources and capabilities. Innovations are increasingly based on interdisciplinary and inter-industry advances. Second point under this is global competition. Small companies, they combine together, they collaborate together in order to compete more effectively against a global common enemy rather than they fight individually with the global player. Strategic alliance. Over 70% of strategic alliances are between rival companies, and that too mainly in high-tech and capital-intensive industries. Six industries account for the vast majority of alliances, and those six industries are automobiles, aerospace, telecommunications, computer, electrical products, and airlines. These industries are all characterized by the following features. There is extremely high entry barriers. Second, globalization pressure. Then scale and scope of economies, rapid technological changes, extremely high risk, and declining product life cycle. Now, this is one of the very important topics for the purpose of end-term examination, that is, types of strategic alliances. Herein, we'll be discussing basic three types of strategic alliances. First one is joint ventures, then we'll be talking about equity strategic alliance, and last is non-equity strategic alliance. Joint venture basically means when two companies they collaborate, they form an alliance in order to create a new independent company. In such a way, the existence of both companies remains in the market. Examples that we have already been discussing in our class. Two companies, let's say A and B, they collaborate to form a new company C. In such a way, A and B also remains in the market. That means A and B work independently and they work collaboratively in the form of new company C to share their capabilities and resources. So let's see what's written here in the PPT. Joint venture is a strategic alliance in which two or more firms create a legally independent company to share some of their resources and capabilities to develop a competitive advantage. Equity strategic alliance and non-equity strategic alliance. Equity basically means investment in share. When one company purchases stake in another company and they form an alliance to share their resources and capabilities, that is equity strategic alliance. On the other hand, when the company just form an agreement to share the resources and capabilities with another company without making investment in the share of another company, that is non-equity strategic alliance. So let's see what is written here. Equity strategic alliance. An equity strategic alliance is created when one company purchases a certain equity percentage of other company. If company A purchases 40% of the equity in company B, an equity strategic alliance would be formed. Non-equity strategic alliance. A non-equity strategic alliance is created when two or more companies sign a contractual relationship to pool their resources and capabilities together. Joint venture in detail we'll be discussing here. A joint venture is usually a separate new business enterprise which is formed with equity contribution by two or more participating firms. A joint venture basically brings together complementary strengths in the form of financial resources, technological, managerial, marketing skills of the participating firm to meet some common business objective with greater advantage. Once that business objective is attained, joint venture comes to an end. The most popular joint venture that we have been discussing in our class is Hero Honda, which was diluted in the year 2011. Other examples of joint venture are Maruti Udyog, it is a joint venture between Government of India and Suzuki. TVS Suzuki, it is a joint venture between TVS and Suzuki. Samsung HP joint venture to market their HP products in Korea. Why companies are going for joint venture? First point, they try to bring together complementary advantage. That means one capability or one resource. If a company has, they form a joint venture in order to share those capabilities or resources. One firm has a product idea, other has a finance to commercialize that product idea. For technology transfer, companies are going for joint venture. Learning by doing, teaching by doing is the most appropriate use of knowledge transfer. Third, to enlarge one's business in order to enhance one market share, companies are collaborating with their competitors, with their suppliers, so that they can attain largest market share by sharing their investment and business risk. To gain endorsement from government authorities, to gain economies of scale and economies of scope. Economies of scale means when companies are going for mass production in order to minimize the per unit cost of production. Economies of scope basically means when companies are going for producing variety of goods. Tax advantages, companies are forming joint venture to obtain access to distribution channel or raw material. It is nothing but sharing of resources and capabilities of another organization. Reasons why joint venture fails. One study shows 70% of joint ventures are either disbanded or fall short of expectation. Other study shows the average joint venture does not even last half of the term stated in the joint venture agreement. So why these joint ventures fail? First one is it is extremely rigid contract which does not provide sort of flexibility to the joint venture companies to make adjustments or changes in the agreement. Partners which are concerned with their respective businesses, hence inability to give sufficient time and management attention to the joint venture. Sometimes there is a conflict of interest between partners with both later on wanting to expand independently in the same business. Fourth, issues of leadership, cultural incompatibility, and inability to deal with rapid changes in the environment. Sometimes there is opportunistic behavior, that means lack of mutual trust and willingness to cooperate in achieving common challenges in strategic alliance. These are the various challenges in strategic alliance. Although strategic alliance create value, there are many challenges to consider. partners may misrepresent what they bring to the table. That means sometimes they lie about the competency that they do not have in reality. Partners may fail to commit resources and capabilities to the other partners. One partner may commit heavily to the alliance while the other partner does not. Partners may fail to use their complementary resources effectively. So students, we have discussed the basic concept of strategic alliance, various types of strategic alliance. That means joint venture. We have discussed joint venture in detail too, along with strategic alliance with equity, strategic alliance without equity, and various challenges in strategic alliances. Thank you so much. All the very best for your exam examination.